Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And hello! I am Tiki. I just want to emulate the hello, I am Jake. So, Dragon, today we are talking about the first feature-length documentary from Jake Williams of Bright Sun Films fame. Now, Dragon, I kind of gave you a crash course on Bright Sun Films, so I'm curious. What do you think of this lad? What do you think of his filmmaking endeavors? What do you get of his style? I'm very curious for like a take right off the bat.
Well, do you want me to just kind of lump it into my overall kind of thesis?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so, yeah, I have a passing familiarity, with the work of Bright Sun Films and more so by proxy, Jake Williams. I've seen a little bit of his Abandoned series before he brought this to my attention. The main thing I go to with him, and once you mentioned the name, I asked you like, "Oh, was this him?" And I believe you confirmed it was the Nickelodeon Studios video.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main thing I knew him from. That and something like I think I saw a little bit of the Planet Hollywood thing before. So, the Bankrupt series that he did. The point being, I'm very very slightly familiar with his work, and it's good stuff. It's no Defunct Land, but it's good.
Whoa, okay. We're trying to get potentially Jake on, so it's great. It's in the same company as Defunct Land.
It is. Now let me be clear, okay? So I'm just saying that was like his work before this. Now here's the thing I want to highlight. So I think this is a very solid feature debut for him. I really do. I think it's polished. I think it's the polished cinematic graduation of his style. I think he's kind of taking his style. Basically, he has a style and it works and it's good. But it kind of, it could always, like, you can if you look at the early work, you can see it kind of gets better as it went along.
And absolutely.
And that's my point. I went around, I watched a few of his videos, and again, like the history of Jurassic, the Jurassic Park 4, but all that sort of stuff. Again, he's got good work, and again, the more up to date it is, it seems like the better that he's gotten. So this just to me seems like a graduation of that patented style, and I think it's kind of the best that it's ever looked from the little that I've seen. I will say that even though it's a feature debut, at least it is a feature debut for him, right? There's not any other movies.
As far as I know, it's his feature debut.
Okay, so yeah, I have reservations with the last third of it, kind of the Act 3, if you will. But I want to be clear, I was sucked in and impressed by what he did. I really was. So,
there's one moment in Act 3 that absolutely freaking gobsmacked me that we'll get to.
That's what I'm saying. This movie had a lot of good stuff going for it. I think it's for a first attempt, it makes me really eager to see what he might do next. I'll give you that.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, so here's what I know about Jake Williams. I know he started his YouTube channel a few years ago. I'm not going to give an exact date because I'm probably going to be wrong about it. And Dragon, I've been following this guy basically from the get-go. I think I've been following him from the point where he had maybe 10 episodes or like a dozen is when I jumped on board with the Abandoned series, and I really admire the Abandoned series a lot. It might not be as highly polished as something like Defunct Land, but what I admire about it is I love how multi-topical it is. I never thought I would get invested in retail spaces as much as I was watching, like Target Canada or the Ives department store or something like that. I feel like Jake, one of his talents is to make very mundane sort of industrial spaces interesting. And that's kind of his style. And so for this, I believe that Six Flags New Orleans is probably something that he held off on for a long time, assuming that he knew that there was a story to tell here that it cannot be fit into a YouTube video. And Dragon, like you said, this is absolutely the evolution of his style, to be sure. It really, I think the drone shots he uses and kind of like that sort of feeling of stepping into the park, and it really does kind of just suck you in. But like I said, there's a beauty to the mundane and the industrial and kind of like these abandoned spaces that we pass by every day, but they kind of just become a part of the landscape. And I think this film is a pretty damn poetic sort of examination of something like that. So, I'm not going to say it's perfect by any means. Of course it's not. But I think this film genuinely had some well-crafted characters in it. Like I said, I think it builds to a certain point in Act 3 that I'm excited to talk about that really kind of like hit me at the knees, man. And it really just emotionally gutted me. But yeah, just overall, I'm pretty impressed. And like you said, I'm dying to see Jake make another film. This is if he can be like the documentary filmmaker for urban explorers, I think that's a great niche that he could absolutely fill.
If Jake's watching this, I'm sure he's like, I just think they want more. I just did this. This took so much work.
Jake, I'll take another season of Abandoned. By all means, whatever you want to do, Jake, I'll be watching. All right.
Well, something I want to hit at the top before we get into is one really big pro I want to throw at you. I don't know how strong you felt about this or not. I love the ambiance that we said at the top. With like kind of the how things have been abandoned since 05, like that text on the screen, and so the bleed into kind of some background. Hopefully you might be able to illuminate on here. The score, the composer on this, I think did a phenomenal job. Matthew Jordan Leeds. I think he really elevated Jake Williams' style here. I think that was kind of an X factor for me. Like, okay, this is feeling. I'm getting the scope. I'm getting kind of something cinematic here. Your music would be key in jazz land appropriately enough. Yeah, I mean, I think Leeds killed it on this movie in all the right ways. I think he really made like those first two acts really engrossing for me.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of info on him, but I assume he's probably a longtime collaborator with Jake.
Sure. All right, so what can you tell me about this puppy? How does this come about?
I don't know too much, Dragon, beyond the fact that like a couple years ago he put up some crowdfunding for it, and here we are. I'm sorry I don't have like the intricate knowledge of it. Honestly, Dragon, this is pretty low key in the background from what I could tell. Like I feel like, as I mentioned, I feel like the big point to bring up here is the fact that Six Flags New Orleans is a location that has been on Jake's radar probably since before he started his YouTube channel. Like, as an urban explorer, it is a holy land. It's up there with something like Nara Dreamland before Nara Dreamland got destroyed. It's like, for urban explorers, it basically is Disneyland. It's a destination. And so I absolutely believe that this was that Jake probably, when he started his Abandoned series, I absolutely believe that this was probably like something he was building up to in the back of his head for a long time. Like, this was a white whale, Dragon. I'm thinking for a long time, for about as long as he's probably had his channel. Now, like I said, beyond just the general, like, it got some crowdfunding, it did very well at crowdfunding, and here we go, use the drone shots, got some connections with people in the area. Obviously, we've got some interviews that really, I think, do a great job at telling the story. Got the access to the park legally. So all that was really good work on his end from a producer's point of view. I just want to point out, just collaborating all those interviews and stuff, and being able to be there for important moments and filming meetings and stuff like that. I really was impressed with how, I always am impressed with documentary crews, how they always kind of, a documentary is one of those things where you kind of go in with a framework of what you want to tell, but the best sort of documentaries have moments that kind of just naturally happen as you're filming it. And I think there's not much of that in there, but there's a key moment that he captured that I really just, again, it's the Act 3 thing that I'm kind of teasing up. But yeah, Dragon, like I said, the biggest background I can give on this is that Six Flags New Orleans was absolutely the white whale of Jake Williams for a long time.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's get into the history of Jazzland.
Yeah, so I had no clue about Jazzland, like, at all. This was this great, kind of informative deep dive at the top, kind of ushers you into, okay, this is kind of what Williams kind of does on the regular.
He's kind of like taking a cue from his compatriot Kevin Perjurer in that regard. He's like, hey guys, I'm going to weave you a story of a theme park that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of a little taste of the status quo before things get interesting. So what we really hit in the kind of the Jazzland of it all is, like, correct me if I'm wrong, how it became a popular staple of New Orleans. The whole I love the whole idea of, like, it's 350 miles from the other parks, including the big Disney World of it all. It's like it's kind of in this concentric circle of, like, it's far enough, just out of the range of these parks where it's like it's a viable attraction.
Okay, Drag, I'm going to be completely honest with you and say, as a coaster enthusiast, the lineup at Six Flags New Orleans kind of sucked. Just being straight. But what I will give a lot of credit for Jake for in the first act is I think he did a great job of weaving together that community feeling.
Yeah.
Specifically in the employees, Dragon.
Yeah, we have some great, again, we can't really call them characters because they are real people. So we kind of run to this thing often with our love of documentaries, where they're so compelling. Well, yeah, I mean, they're people, though. So, Ryan, I'm going to butcher this poor guy's last name, Ryan Bordenave.
Let's just call him Ryan.
Ryan!
So,
Ryan, the advertising manager, this guy was great. If they cast him in a biopic, who they should play him?
Who?
Of course, Jake's not going to get this, but Tiki and I are going to love this. Corey Olnick.
No, Jake's not going to get that.
I know.
I appreciate that pull, but no, Jake's not going to get that at all.
When I was watching this, I was thinking, oh my god, it looks like Corey Olnick. It's crazy. Right? Am I crazy? Did it look like our boy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see a side by side, honestly.
All right, fine. Okay, regardless of this, so Ryan, though, in all seriousness, this guy, he's a great representation of the park for sure.
Greg, this is the type of job that I'd like to have for an amusement park, where it's like, it's not necessarily on the front lines. It's more kind of like, like it's your job to kind of like hype the park up, if you will, And in that regard, I really feel like he is one of the best focal points of this documentary, because he really gives us an eye into what it was like on ground level for working at the park and for experiencing everything that went down. And like I said, I really do feel like with all due respect to anyone who worked at the park that might be watching, I'm sure you guys had an awesome vibe. I'm sure you guys had an awesome local culture, but as I said, just strictly speaking, in terms of ride lineup, there wasn't a ton there.
Well, again, let's go with the overarching kind of point, though, Tiki. That sense of community and kind of that sense of, like, for example, Patricia. And again, I'm going to butcher her last name. I'm just going to call her Patricia.
Patricia,
I think she's very much. So I think she's very much the heart of the piece. I think she was very key. Like she had the whole idea of pictures of the snake and the gorilla plush prizes and stuff like that. And later on, basically towards I'm going to assume your big moment has to do with Patricia. Am I right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So she's very key in all that for those reasons. We'll talk about that. That big kind of stand-up moment for later. And we had, like, I forget the kid, like the younger guy who was like the ride operator, had like the paraplegic the paraplegic woman who had
right.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of really great human interest things, and the broader kind of strokes of it all is I'm more impressed the fact it was after. I was expecting, knowing nothing about the story, mind you, except for I have a feeling where it's going, given the 05 of it all. But just there's no, like, in the kind of the upfront setup here is that I would have imagined, like, we had a small town thing and then Six Flags, it just kind of,
totally. Yeah.
I was expecting that, but no, Six Flags actually, like, the nice memories were forged there. You had this great. Yeah, you had the Six Flags interested by kind of this kind of cult little success you had with Jazzland, the potential there, and like, hey, well, let's bring some of our IPs there. People love these IPs. You got DC, you got Looney Tunes, and of course you Mr. Six. And I love this in terms of the style of the film here. I love that we're using this. The archival usage of footage as well as the like the home movie effects. I love like we're using like little ads like the classic Six Flags guy dancing.
Of course,
so that's the thing. The infusion of IPs wasn't like we're taking away the individuality or like we're selling out. Like no, it actually ended up like lovely memories were forged and actually helped it be a community fixture. Like people would schools would go here. Stuff like that. It was really nice. And
I have so much to say about what you're just saying right now because I'm very close to a local Six Flags. All right, Drag. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go on a little side tangent here. All right, just because it's something that's going on in terms.
I got a huge nostalgic thing that might titillate you. You go on.
Okay, so Dragon, you've seen some of my vlogs at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, believe it or not, that park is actually, it's like, this is a recent development. It's so recent that I haven't gotten a chance to go to the park yet to kind of record it. But Dragon, it might be moving to Fresno, which is like 300 miles away. And so I feel like there might be like another documentary on our hands where it's like the city of Vallejo very much wants to keep Six Flags in Vallejo for obvious reasons, just because it's a big source of jobs, it's a big source of income. Obviously it's a great thing for families to do and whatnot. A lot of reasons for you to want an amusement park. Like Vallejo is not an area where it's like there is 100-foot height limit, 150-foot height limit with the city of Vallejo, which is kind of annoying. But besides that, I don't think there's many problems. Now with Fresno, you'd be getting rid of the 150-foot height limit. You'd be moving into a much more urbanized area, much bigger population. I'm assuming more land to work with. But Dragon, it's 300 miles away. I can't have my home park move 300 miles away. So Dragon, I am currently in the middle of a theme park drama of my own. Let me tell you. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, as you made that about you, I'm going to make this about me. So there was one. So we lay out kind of what Jazzland had. We had like Main Street, you got Cajun Country, you got Mardi Gras, you got the Kids Carnival and everything.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going to stop you right there. This is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like all those lands are like the most basic. Like I couldn't even separate those themes from each other.
I'm really shocked you're saying that because I was imagining watching this like, oh man, Tiki must love all this right now. Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of the park as a whole from what I've seen of it. It just like I'm sure it had a very good community vibe to it, but it just doesn't look like anything special. Well, like I'll put it this way: there's a good reason why Six Flags didn't choose to invest in it. It wasn't like a flagship park by any means.
Right. Well, yeah, there was one thing there. I had this giant flash of nostalgia to this ride I went on once. And,
oh, God.
For the life of me, I can't place where I was on, like where I was when I was on this thing. And I'm fairly certain this is exactly the same thing. It's the Pirate Simulator attraction.
The Pirate Simulator?
Yes, I went on as a kid. I went on this Pirate Simulator thing. It was on like a pier somewhere. I don't know if it was Vegas. I don't know.
Are you talking about the pirate ship, like the one that just swings?
No, no. They talked about a simulator attraction. Like you get on the thing, like you're on there's like a row of seats. I don't know. If they give you
yeah.
I don't know if they give you glasses or not. You have like a guy dressed up like a pirate outside, getting people to come in and get on the ride.
Rick Sanchez would hate that ride.
Yes, he would. He'd be traumatized by it. But I cannot tell you where exactly I was, because I know it was pre-Atlantic City, so it is not there. But again, I'm pretty sure it was like on a boardwalk or something. It feels like it might have been Vegas. I can't.
Was it New Jersey somewhere?
No, I mean, again, the only time I go to
New Jersey's got a lot of boardwalks.
Right. That's what I'm saying, Tika. The obvious thing would be Jersey, but I don't think it's that, because it would be too easy. Anyway, the point being that this pirate attraction, like, oh my God, I haven't thought about this pirate simulator in forever. So I don't know, it was kind of hit me really.
It wasn't Disney Quest, was it?
No, it wasn't Disney Quest. context.
All right.
You gotta remember if it was Disney.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm saying it's not Disney. It's not Atlantic City. I'm saying it could be.
Okay.
I doubt it's Universal, but I
don't think it would be Universal either.
This is what I'm saying. It could be Wildwood. It could be King's Dominion, but I don't know.
All right.
Regardless, so just hit me in
honestly, it was very likely King's Dominion. It sounds like something King's Dominion would have.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it could be. Anyway, the point being, the pirate thing could have hit me in the solar plexus. That was just a little thing from me. But no, seriously, again, the small town community, like there were summer jobs here. There were, schools and events.
Also, I want to point out the thing where it's not just New Orleans; it's New Orleans East in particular. That's a crucial point to make because it's not like the French Quarter and the the Mardi Gras and all that. Like this is just kind of like average suburbs for the most part.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, and I think that very much falls into line with where amusement parks are usually placed within bigger cities.
All right, so we set up a lot of humanity in Act 1. I think a lot of like homespun, like this is what we do, and it's like you kind of caught like, wait, so what happened? Did Six Flags invest in it because they were impressed by it, or what?
I mean, at the time, Six Flags was buying up a lot of assets, so it was like one of many parks they bought up.
Right.
I can't tell you exactly why they... I mean, honestly, if I were to guess, I would probably say they're just attracted to the New Orleans location.
Right. And again, I just do like the idea of like New Orleans having a jazz-themed kind of like, park. Mm-hmm. It's cool. All right, so let's talk about, the big moment, like the big, and this is where things really, this is where I say, good on you, Jake Williams, good on you. The bang-up job with this Act 2 here. So Act 2... primarily, the Katrina of it all. It's like it's the literal storm cloud looming over the piece. Just this, it's the gripping standout filmmaking of the documentary to me. Just the build up and the dread. Like we have that text on the screen. You're like 05, like oh god, something it's coming, and you're having such a good time. And then we have that just the mounting irony of hey, we're going to expand into a water park.
Hey, water park coming, guys. Because the one thing you guys want in New Orleans right now is more water, right? I
know. I love the mounting irony of that, and then Ryan having that cavalier joke of like, hey, I'll be back soon unless that hurricane, destroys everything. It's oh my god. And then boom, that's what I'm talking about. This is where Williams gets all my attention. Like, yes. You nailed it. This is like all the cinema. This is what separates the boys from the men. This is what separates his work from what he did before. It's like, yes, this is filmmaking, man. This is good documentary filmmaking. You have like the boom.
To use my own words, this is a movie.
Sure.
All right.
Anyway, so Katrina hits, and it's I love the scary just kind of execution within the within the editing, just the raw editing of like you've never seen Katrina from these angles, and I really respect that. And we have like the storm, you have like the storm coming, and have like the little graphic of it kind of going over the storm that's flooding everything, and just these just like you never underestimate the storm, which then leads to Category 5. We got to get out of here like right now.
Yeah. It's a great kind of mix of like security cam footage, archival footage, news footage, edited together really well. Of course, the score.
Yes, again, the score. As I said earlier, again, lead score here. Lead score along with just like seeing a hurricane at that level, just seeing like at eye level. It kind of. Right. I'm gonna give you because Nickelodeon does pop up here later on, very briefly. I'm gonna go for an obscure poll. Do you remember the Rocket Power Hurricane episode?
Oh God! Oh yeah, I do.
Remember Absolutely. How amazing that was, being at the ground level of being caught.
You know what I remember about that is I remember the animation in that episode was like considerably like way better than the average Rocket Power episode.
Because they had like they had red lighting inside the giant,
they had like crazy. Like honestly, it looked like it could have been like animation for a Rocket Power movie. It was that good.
It was good. That's what I'm saying. It's like you have like that build now, like kind of that menace of like it's from the ground level. Like again, the idea of Twister. And the reason I'm bringing it up in case anyone's wondering, why is he bringing up Rocket Power? It's because
Twister. Why not?
Well, true.
This is so you want to be an Imagineer. There is always reason to bring up Rocket Power.
My point is that Twister, the being the filmmaker, he's capturing it at the ground level via camera. So it's kind of what we're doing. All right, so anyways, the storm comes again. They underestimate the storm, doesn't go well, and we have those effective kind of flashes and overlays of the weather reports to all the way to the awe-striking flood of New Orleans, which is like 80% flooded. And the park is totally submerged.
Dragon, do you remember this going down in real time, or were you a little too young?
I mean, I remember. Okay, I remember Katrina hitting in the aftermath.
Okay.
I mean, basically, like I was very safe from Katrina. Okay, I was like very, it's very much like, oh man, what's it there? So it was raining, right? And I'm pretty sure, yeah, her. I think I was
like, were you following the news footage at all?
It was more like just kind of hearing what was
just
happening.
General awareness. Okay,
just general awareness. Maybe a few photos here and there. I want to say, I think Katrina may have been the thing, like, is it going to pass over us, or like if it did, it was like it was raining and there was like the threat of it, but it didn't hit.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm in California, so there was no like threat of it on my.
I'm on the East Coast, so I think it had to pass. It's kind of had to pass through us or something to get there.
I do vividly remember like watching it on the news. I think for about a week or so, it was like one of the like high school. It started like literally a week into my freshman year of high school, and for about a week there, that's all my high school teachers wanted to talk about. Because my high school teachers knew it was like a historical event.
Yeah, honestly, I simply didn't when I was younger, I just simply didn't understand. I wasn't like that young, by the way, folks. At the time, I was like, I don't think I quite understood the magnitude of a hurricane at that time. Like from just understanding like just the damage. And I think this documentary hits perfectly what that damage and more so what the aftermath is, because not only do we have that money shot with the park just submerged completely up to like just the tallest rides and the tallest roller coasters are the only things that are like keeping their heads above water, metaphorically speaking. And the magnitude of the damage is what we hit here. I love that we're attaching some price tags to things up front.
It's like you think immediately about rides, but the thing that really fucked them was the inner workings of the park.
Yeah, so at the top we attached the price tag that basically this whole project, in 2000 was $130 million.
Mm-hmm.
So the magnitude of the damage here is, and just the length of it really gets you. It's like, imagine this: for 4 to 6 weeks, everything's submerged, and you have 6 feet of chemically infused water, wind, and flood damage, which creates mold and the smell of death.
Yeah, right.
Literal death. And $32 million in damage. That ain't good.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like, God willing, like, I live in California, so it's like we're not worried about hurricanes, but we are worried about earthquakes. We got our own natural disasters to worry about. So, Dragon, I hope to God I'm never in a situation this dire.
Right. So then we lean into Jake Williams' strong suit here, which basically goes into the abandoned style in Act 2.
Yes. It's like, hey guys, this is my YouTube channel, but just in movie form.
Now, to me, I like that it was an earned thing here.
It was a build-up for sure, sure.
Now, I'll admit, I do ponder. I wonder if maybe we stayed here just a little too long.
He indulges in it a bit.
Right?
Sure, I agree.
Because I mean, I always was like, here's what works for me. Like, I forget like how IP wise how this would work, but we had like the SpongeBob simulator attraction that kind of hit me.
Don't get me fucking started on SpongeBob SquarePants 3. I'm sure you've done SpongeBob SquarePants 3D, right?
Well, no, I did Nicktoon Blast. I never did.
You never did SpongeBob 3D, really?
I didn't have it.
Oh wow, it was everywhere though. That was kind of the gag. Like, it was at California Great America. That's how I did it, anyways.
Well, of course, that's how you did it, Tiki.
All right.
But seriously, you know me. I adore simulator rides. I love them.
Oh, you'd love SpongeBob 3D. Oh, we should do a retrospective on SpongeBob 3D sometime, man. That's a quality ride.
Yes, on the ride that you've gone on, I have not. Yes, that's a good.
The video footage is there.
Sure.
It's like Shrek 3D. You can still review it.
Okay, regardless. But seriously, you know me, my love of simulator rides, and particularly, I mean, again, more adjacent to SpongeBob, the Nicktoons Blast, which I have a huge fondness. I have a huge affinity for. I have all the nostalgic things to say about that ride. But
as nice as that ending of the Despicable Me ride is, I do miss Nicktoons.
Oh, I miss it. Anyway. So that's what I'm saying. Just like seeing a simulator ride attached to something Nickelodeon related, just like, oh my god, it hit me in the solar plexus too, like that pirate thing. Like, no, we've seen the guts.
Not Nick,
no. And I think
Nick's already taken a hurricane of public relations damage.
So I think one of those genius shots in the whole thing, within the abandoned kind of shooting style, was, and this is, I think, it's something yet again that kind of separates the boys from the men of what he used to do with the style and how we've kind of upgraded here, is that we set up Mr. Six, and what do we have in the aftermath? We have the single standee that survived of Mr. Six. Like, yes, that's genius. That's what I'm saying. When he's doing all that stuff, that's great. I'll give you as much as, like, okay, we're planning for Fright Fest, like, and just placing the time frame of everything and the bulletin board that's untouched by time. But it's anything else beyond that, though, it just feels like, yeah, we're just considering Act 3 is where we kind of revisit things, and I think in a more meaningful kind of way. Yeah. I don't think we needed, like, we could have cut.
No, there's definitely a little bit of indulgent Jake Williams doing urban exploring with his buddies in there for sure.
I mean, he put in the work, so it's like, let him have it. I'll let him have it. Like, it's not necessarily a problem I have. I have a problem with something else though, which is coming up. So,
okay.
Post Katrina, this is where we get into kind of like all the proposals and stuff and everything. So post Katrina, there's just like this. I love the defeated realization we got from Ryan. He went to this business conference that Six Flags was having, and just like that moment of like the guy just giving you that real shady response, like, yeah, I know we're paying everyone while we're figuring stuff out, but like we're gonna operate, right? We're gonna go back to operation again. Like, yeah, sure, yeah, or something.
Well, we're gonna go back to operations again, right?
Yeah.
I will give it to Six Flags though. That is very generous of them to keep everyone on payroll for so long.
I know it was. I really surprised.
Like, I mean, especially in the wake of some shit that went down with COVID, in the theme park industry, Just saying.
I love that our boy Ryan here. He knew it was all over, and that was the last time I went to. I would see the place. I visited the place in operation.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just the fate of it is just kind of sitting there stagnant, and it's kind of like a Schrodinger's cat effect. It's both alive and dead at the same time. I mean,
it's like it's just like one of those things. Like you could totally imagine just like it just kind of becoming part of the landscape as you as you like drive past it every day on commute or something. Now
I know he's literally got a whole series with this name on it, but I kind of really appreciate it here, especially just the idea of like. It's that mythical thing we see all the time in shows and movies and stuff, the old abandoned amusement park. We got to see it actually happen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like it's not just like, okay, well, yeah, we just kind of went defunct or something. It's just kind of there, but like, no, it's like it's there. It's not going.
It's like, yeah, that's the thing. It's the fact that it's still there to this day. Like,
it's like almost
stuff like Nara Dreamland existed, but it's long gone. Like that is still there.
I mean, this is kind of like the Scott Snyder stuff I love. Where it's all about the architecture and the history behind. Where like it's just there. It's a festering wound of reminders. It's it's there. It's just like it's both alive and dead. It could be revived, but they choose.
Dragon, honestly, that's kind of how I'd feel if they just moved Six Flags from Vallejo and it just became an empty lot. And I'm just like, what used to be, man? What used to be?
Like now it's a home for vandals, thieves, and urban explorers.
Well, I think in Discovery Kingdom's case, it's probably more likely going to be a home for yuppies, or many homes for yuppies, I'm guessing. But
why yuppies?
Because of the area.
You know what? You mean
basically it's the East Bay, Dragon. It's the East Bay.
Well, no, what I mean is, so it's going to be a bunch of just kind of guys in suits then.
No, no. What I'm saying is, like, once Six Flags moves out of Vallejo, I'm picturing it's like that whole land is just going to be condos. Condos.
Okay, now I got you.
Condos as far as the eye can see, folks.
I thought you were trying to sell like yuppies as like, for a moment I was afraid like you forgot what yuppies are.
Right, again, Dragon, I am a fucking stone's throw away from Marin, all right?
Okay.
Anyways.
All right. Anyway, so we have, speaking of yuppies and men with suits with plans. So let's talk about the failed proposal. This is where we enter a problem area for me. Like, let's talk about the proposal.
What is the problem area?
Problem area for me. So one, we have a great again in quotes character because he's a real guy. Troy, what was it? Is it Troy? Troy Henrys? Yeah, Troy Henrys, the guy.
Sounds right.
The guy who ran for mayor and resulted his campaign and everything. So the problem spot of the movie for me is the Politico and the proposal votes of it all. Now,
really,
let me put it this way: I like the way we lay out that. Okay, hey, we're imagining Plan A and Plan B. That's good. Okay, so you got Plan A, which essentially is, hey, we're making a proposal for a theme park in like this span of time. Sure. Plan B is like, okay, Amazon distribution center, to get the jobs flowing, kind of like we have with the park. So again, I mean, look, sadly, this is not the knock. I'm just saying that in relation to that matter. Sadly, I think they're going to go the Amazon route, which kind of makes me sad. Like, come on, let's put a little lifeblood in there. Come on, let's not make everything an Amazon warehouse. Come on. But onto this. So again, that's fine. That's compelling. But getting there is the problem for me. I feel like we lose the steam that we've built so well with the first two acts.
How do you feel about the live conference that we attend?
That's what I'm saying. Like that didn't help.
Really? Really?
I'm not saying it hurt more. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because that is my building to.
See, I should have been on the edge of my seat during that, but I wasn't.
I absolutely was on the Dragon. That scene, like, hit me on a visceral level, and let me lay out why I think it works. All right.
Okay.
I think it works because you have to see the minutia of it. It is bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit what's going down. But it's like I feel like the bigger impact it has is because it's like you're just kind of sitting there twiddling your thumb. Like it's a bureaucracy. Sorry, it's the bureaucracy of it all. And Dragon, I gotta say, the fact that they passed over the proposal because there was another proposal that was like close in the votes, and they're like, oh, well, we can't have 4, so screw it. Let's just cut both of them. And it's like, after all that bureaucratic nonsense, after all that, professionalism, you're just going to be, okay, screw it. Let's just make our job a little bit easier. Like the heart and soul and work that's gone into this proposal is done because the proposal and the other proposal came within, the votes came too close. And so we're just going to cut both of them. Dragon, that is absolutely a bureaucratic bullshit of the highest order, and I was like actively livid watching it. I really was.
I don't know what it is. I mean, man, we go so in depth on the legalese of Better Call Saul. I should be on the edge of my seat during all of that minutia.
I can't explain it, man. I don't know, because it really got to me, man. It really got to me.
I wanted to be there. I knew it was an important moment. I didn't feel anything because, again, the pacing just went out. Because basically what happened is he threw a lot of numbers at me. And
I understand that he threw numbers, but like I said, that's kind of like the style I was getting. It's like it's just bureaucratic mumbo jumbo that you're not supposed to really relate to. You're just supposed to feel just how pointless the numbers are, because it really just comes down to like, oh, we're too bored to break the tie essentially between the two closer ones, so we're just gonna cut both of them.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you know what, Dragon? It's totally fine. Like, I mean, you know me. I always kind of prefer when we differ on opinions. I think it makes the conversation fun. But
well, there you go. I mean, that honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like, that to me is like the mistake of the movie. Outside of that, I'm loving the thing because it just feels
like that to me is the moment of the movie. So there you go. I feel like we can kind of just end there. That kind of that sums up a lot of our feelings. No, I'm not serious. We're not going to actually end there, but. But no, that really does kind of like sum up some of our feelings on it. Like that moment absolutely worked for me.
All right, so we
I'm curious though, Dragon. What moment did you think I was thinking of?
Well, yeah, I thought you were thinking of the heartwarming ending. Well, not heartwarming, but we had a heartwarming build up to a bittersweet ending. Patricia.
Yeah.
So I love how we wrap things up with Patricia, and I assume, I don't know this for sure, and I don't know, maybe Jake Williams, if he ever sees us, he can tell us, but I won't count my chickens on that. So I'll just say the home movie footage with the kid. I like to assume that maybe it's her kids. Like, it's like, how was your first day? I like to think maybe that was her on her first day, and the kids are there. I don't know. Might be her, might not be. Regardless, it's good footage. So just like this to me is like how we spice up kind of the usual format. And again, if we just kind of maybe cut out like a part of the earlier thing, we just had this, I think it would have been better. So I just love this whole, she is touring the now abandoned kind of haunted house laser tag.
Yeah. It is a good finale. I feel like it really is earned. Right? Like this to me is a lot more compelling than just Jake and his friends just kind of like, exploring. There's personal stakes to this.
Yeah, and like the whole Jocko the Jester guy. I love seeing that. Like Jocko the Jester guy and the whole
By the way, that Jester coaster looks like the best coaster there. Just gonna point that out.
Yeah, just like the whole it squirts water on you and stuff. And it's just like the idea that brings it back to the Jazzland kind of like DNA of it all. And it's just the fact like she kind of says it perfectly. She says everything's gone and she's walking away, and then we have the origin of the title, which is the sign is Ryan.
Origin of the title was another thing that floored me. I loved that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the movie ends.
And the fact that is still there all these years later.
I mean, that's the thing.
It's 3 words: closed for storm. Dragon, like phonetically, the title isn't great, right? It's just closed for storm. What is that like? Why couldn't they call it like the Six Flags New Orleans story or whatever? But no, closed for storm is a perfect title. Once you put it in context with that sign,
the fact that it's frozen in time, and we learn specifically through the text and stuff and everything is that because of 20.
I'm always a big fan of tying movie titles to something like that. That kind of stuff always really works for me.
It's just the fact that because of $20 million, because of the fact that it would take $20 million to tear it down, which is less than the damage. Now it's just there. It's just it's a great bittersweet ending of just like it's the omnipresent reminder. That's what I'm saying. There's so much strength in the ending, and it just feels like we had like a momentum dip, and then we ended really strong again. That's what frustrates me. It's not like just like going down. I can't just say Act 3 kills the movie. It's like, no, there's a decline, but then we end really strong.
Well, like I said, I don't think there's a decline from my point of view. So
I'm just saying, like, there's human stakes, and then there's sorrow, and then there's numbers, and then back to the circle.
But there's so much stake in those numbers.
No, there should be. There isn't, in my opinion.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
I should Universe with his subjectivity chart.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That's all she wrote. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you all for watching this. I'm expecting this to be kind of a niche review, but I will go ahead and post a link to you guys can buy this for a few dollars on YouTube, and I strongly suggest checking this out for any fans of not just Bright Sun Films, but generally speaking, like Defunct Land, Yesterworld. Any sort of content like that, I think anyone who's into theme parks, into the theme park YouTube community would get a kick out of this.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just want to get this in here because I think we're just jumping over like any last sentence, but it's fine. I just want to say, we need more feature documentaries on theme parks. And I think this is in great company with something like Class Action Park. So I say, I'm eager to see Jake Williams, him to take another stab at something like this again, do another, I don't know, whether it be another theme park documentary or whatever he's kind of got.
I would like to see him do a feature-length documentary on something on the retail side of things, because honestly, that's where I think he's even more interesting. Like, I love his retail content.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that's what I'm saying. Just in general,
like something like a documentary that kind of like documents the closing of a mall or something like that.
Well, there is a documentary like that too. But yeah, seeing him.
No, I know there's a documentary like that. I know, but like I'd like to see Jake bring his style to it.
No, I agree with you. Again,
I want to check that documentary out. By the way,
I don't want to just chain Williams to you got to do theme parks, kid.
You got to do abandoned stuff, Williams.
No,
it's in the name of your series.
I do like the idea that he's kind of helping kind of keep the fire lit. Yeah, let's do more of these theme park laden documentaries where again, it's kind of taking what's kind of like they're on YouTube and they've been done well in kind of the essay kind of format. Well, if you just gave them like the feature treatment, let's do that. There's a lot to be said there, and we can just kind of give it the kind of the time it deserves. Like again, like a lot of people aren't going in. There's like, look at all the celebrities talking about theme parks. Where no, it's just it's the average Joe actually had something to say who've been there, have like memories forged. Again, it's the human experience personified. So like, oh, got a lot of good stuff there.
All right, well said, well said. All right, folks. Well, thanks for watching. See y'all later, and yeah, go check out the movie. Like I said, link in the description. I highly encourage y'all to check it out. Have a good one.
Close for storm.